my secondary school and primary schools in cricket, football, and basketball. I'm a businessman, and through my business dealings, I've become the president of the Couva Point Lisa's Chamber of Commerce, most recently for the last 3.5 years, serving the business community. And I look forward to taking all my experiences to come and serve you, the people of Claxton Bay constituency, so we can make this constituency a bigger and brighter Claxton.
New chapter for TNT. We're red, ready, and responsible. Vote PNM. Great is the PNM. New chapter for TNT. We're red, ready, and responsible. Vote PNM. Great is new chapter for TNT.
Calling out all our way, friends and family with love for TNT. From the mountaintop to the valley low, everywhere we go, country before party. We working, we building, young will make it better.
My name is Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, members and supporters of the only true political party in Trinidad and Tobago, red is the word. Red is the word. La Horquetta Talparo. Red is the word. Red is the energy. Red is the movement. Red is the party that continues to stand strong, continues to be resilient, continues to be rooted in purpose, continues to be the party of progress. Red is Trinidad and Tobago. I stand here to welcome you all to a meeting of the People's National Movement. Red, ready, and resilient. A party of substance, a party of vision, a party with a proven track record for delivering for the people. You are not here for theatrics. You are not here for empty promises. From a PNM platform, you get PNM education, and you also get decent young men. You are not getting any of those men who are going to disrespect women and disrespect the people of Trinidad and Tobago. You will be getting men like Kareem Marcel. You will be getting men like Dominic. And I don't mean the other Dominic. I mean Dominic Romaine. You will be getting men like Foster Cummings. My friends, this election on April 28th is no joke. This is not the time to sit back and leave it to chance. This is not the time to gamble. This is not the time to be drunk with power. This is the time to make sober reflection. And tonight we ask you to vote for stability, vote for proper leadership, and vote for country. Tonight, our first speaker is Kareem Marcel. Kareem is the candidate for Laventille West. And we know that Kareem is the next member of parliament for Laventille West. Laventille West is in good hands because you're voting for a young man who's not just been talking about the community and community service, but he has been in the community, he is of the community, and he has been working in the community. This legal professional is a servant of the people, a force of change in his own right, an alderman in the Port of Spain City Corporation, president of the Renewing Hope Foundation. He has launched over 50 life-changing initiatives in youth development, education, and social support. Kareem is a force of change. He is building change street by street, child by child, an advocate for digital transformation, justice for the underserved communities, and real representation. Welcome the next Member of Parliament for Laventille West, Kareem Marcel.
No listen to bad mind down. You see drop pagan send. And everything well with our goal. So look out for bad mind friend. Enough time is a life and fear. Look how much good people life end. So me have to tell every ghetto you might be undefeated. Cause them say me nah go nowhere. You don't nah go make no money. And them say me soon have to run away. But them a dream. Not nice, them say me clothes them never clean. And me nah live this is 17. But now me clothes them ever clean. From me get the big sand when me see me have to say all of this coming like it's a dream. Yeah. All of this coming like it's a dream.
La Horquetta Talparo! Is anybody here from La Horquetta Talparo? Is anybody here from Laventille West? Is anybody here from the People's National Movement? Brothers and sisters, it feels good to be at home. La Horquetta Talparo is home. I, as a very young child, attending Sacred Heart Boys would sometimes have to rush from school, jump in maxi that my mother mobilizing, getting PNM rallies all over this country. So allow me, in my quest tonight, to break a bit of protocol, because I wanted to say this real long. I wanted to say this since I was in primary school. I want to say great is the PNM. I want to say great is the PNM. I want to say great is the PNM, and we shall prevail. Brothers and sisters, allow me to recognize on his way our distinguished Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Stuart Richard Young, SC MP, and it's an A in the middle. Allow me to recognize, even though he's not appearing tonight, it will be remiss of me not to recognize a man who has watched this young man from Beetham and decided that he will make him an alderman in the Port of Spain City Corporation, that decided along with his screening committee less than 1 year after that he will make me the next Member of Parliament for Laventille West come April the 28th. Allow me to recognize Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, my leader phenomenal. Allow me, brothers and sisters, to thank Dr. Rowley, not just for what he has done for me, but what he has done for Trinidad and Tobago, for what he has done for the PNM. Dr. Rowley, we thank you, we salute you, and we love you. Allow me to recognize my lady vice chair, the Honorable, the magnificent, the Honorable Camille Robinson Regis, the next Member of Parliament for Aruka Maloney, Trinity Maloney now. Allow me to recognize my brother. Allow me to recognize my brother, my mentor. Allow me to recognize the General Secretary of the People's National Movement. Allow me to recognize the Minister of Youth Development and National Service. Allow me to recognize your Member of Parliament yesterday, today, tomorrow, and on the 28th of April 2025, the Honorable Foster Neville Cummins. Allow me to recognize my brother, who is going to be the next Member of Parliament from Malabar Mausaka. Soon to be the Honorable Dominic Romain. Brothers and sisters, I have a short time here tonight, but I want to talk to you, brothers and sisters, every single one of you gathered here in your sea of red, because I here tonight, and I can see in La Horquetta Talparo, it's red, 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 red. But brothers and sisters, allow me tonight to spend a few minutes talking to the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, I have one word that I want you to focus on tonight, and that is choice. That word is a very powerful word. That word called choices. On April the 20th, 2025, we will be called upon to make two main choices. The first choice, brothers and sisters, is whether, as young people, we will choose to vote. I am here to implore every single young person in Trinidad and Tobago. It is our duty. It is incumbent upon us to step forward and take responsibility for our country and for our future. Empirical data from the United States and from other countries in the world has shown that between the ages of 18 to 24, young people, that is the lowest voter turnout. And what that says to me is that we are allowing our parents and our grandparents to decide on our future, to decide on who is going to manage our affairs, to decide on what kind of future we want for us, our children, and our children's children. I want to tell you today, I came across a quote from former President of the United States, Barack Obama, and he said young people wouldn't even allow their parents and their grandparents to choose what kind of music they listen to when they go to a club. But in Trinidad and Tobago, I know that no parents and no grandparents can decide what song we want on a boat ride. I know that long time it might be, Minister Cummins, what kind of song will I listen to long time? But you might have to play a Roger while. You might have to play a TJ on a boat ride to get we started. And I'm saying this to tell you, young people, that if we can't allow our parents and our grandparents to make a simple decision like that for us, I think that it's incumbent upon us, no matter which part of this country you are from, to take this responsibility serious and get up and go out and vote. The second choice you have to make, brothers and sisters, the second choice that you have to make, brothers and sisters, is who you are going to vote for. I know I watch around and I see a crowd of decent, hardworking citizens of Trinidad and Tobago from all color, creed, color, race across Trinidad and Tobago. And I know that you will do the responsible thing and vote for the People's National Movement. But brothers and sisters, we must examine as young people, what are the choices that we have in front of us? On the other side, in 2020, they ran a campaign depicting African people in this country eating grass. You did the sensible thing and you rejected Kamala and you rejected the UNC. In 2023 general election, brothers and sisters, the UNC ran a campaign by trying to make their frail political leader look like she young and hip, talking about Prince Swami and rest in peace, Prince Swami, and quoting K-Lion lyrics. We rejected that in 2023 too. Brothers and sisters, you would notice every time you open your social media now, every time you open IG, TikTok, or Facebook, you find that our brothers and sisters who we know what they're saying, they don't believe it in the heart. We know that they sell out. But we're not here to judge. We're not here to judge them. Because unless they're giving you the old $100 bill, take every cent they're giving you. Take every cent they are giving you. Because if they feel that influencers who can't even influence you to go a zest or a boat ride can influence our educated African, East Indian, Chinese, Syrian, any amount of youth on this East-West corridor to vote for them, then I tell them, spend some more money. And when you get the money, I want you to go and invest it in business. I want you to go and sign up for a free course, because on the other side, our answer and how we speak to our young people is that we have a Minister of Youth Development and National Service in the Honorable Foster Cummings. We have a youth officer in the PNM. We have a youth league in the PNM. We have constituency youth leagues of decent, law-abiding, educated, proud, patriotic citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And if we want to influence young people, we will tell them the PNM story. We will tell them about YAP. We will tell them about MUS. We will tell them about CCC. We will tell them about HYPE. We will tell them about OJT. We will tell them about NETCO. We will tell them about Shade House. We will tell them about Project Drive. Brothers and sisters, we on the People's National Movement platform we offer you a message that is not paid for, that is not sold for. We are offering you this message to tell you that on the night of April the 28th, you have one choice, and that one right choice, brothers and sisters, is the People's National Movement. So on election night, brothers and sisters, when I pick up my phone and I call my brother Roger Monroe in Sangre Grande, he will tell me, red is the word. When I call my auntie Penny Narima, she's sure to tell me, red is the word. And when I call Auntie Camille, she's sure to tell me, red is the word. When I call Dominic Romain, he's sure to tell me, red is the word. And when I call Esmond Ford, he will tell me, boy, Roger crying, he should have never resigned, he be police work. I know that when I call Esmond Ford, he going to tell me, red is the word. When I call Terence Yalsing, he going to tell me, red is the word. When I call my brother Foster Neville Cummins, he's sure to tell me, in the Horquetta Talparo, is red is the word. So brothers and sisters, when they reach by 1110 West, they're sure that red is the word. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail. I thank you, brothers and sisters.
No listen to bad mind now. No see your pagan self. And everything what it goes. Look out for bad mind friend. Enough time is a life and feel too much good people life end. So me have to tell every ghetto you, my dear.
Red is the word, ladies and gentlemen. Red is the word. Your candidate, your voice, your next MP for Laventille West, Kareem Marcel. Kareem spoke about investing the 40,000. And let me tell you, Dominic Romaine is no stranger to leadership, no rookie to responsibility. He is a financial powerhouse. And so when you get your 40,000, invest it in Dominic Romaine's company. Because he is a man who is a strategic thinker, a man who walks the walk and walks the talk when it comes to community transformation. He is the Vice President of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, the Director of the Caribbean Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, a lecturer, a mentor, a servant of the people. For over 17 years, he has been building up businesses, training future leaders, and pushing policies for real financial success for real young people. Whilst others have been talking about change, Dominic has been making change, mentoring youth, creating jobs, driving development from the ground up. So, on April 28th, Malabar Mausika, you're not just voting for a candidate, you're voting for a man with vision, a man with accountability, a man with serious progress, a man who, like the PNM, puts country before party. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dominic Romaine, the next Member of Parliament for Malabar Mausika.
We rockin' with Romaine, Dominic Romaine, PLM Romaine, PLM Romaine. Service our winner, development with trigger. Even the blind see progress, we always deliver. As much as our people pressing, you're a public figure. The youth wanna be like you when them get bigger. Come on in, Romaine, Malabar Mausika, cheering your name. Come on in, Romaine, like Highland water forever. You on top of your game. Come on in, I stay my finger for you, cause you know. Come on.
La Horquetta Talparo, good evening. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you responsible? And it have no yellow code here tonight. Red is the word. Let me say good evening to the Honorable Stuart Young, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who is on his way. Good evening to the General Secretary of the People's National Movement, the Honorable Foster Cummings, my fellow colleague. The Honorable Lady Vice Chairman, Camille Robinson Regis, also my colleague, and my soon-to-be parliamentary colleague, soon-to-be member for Laventille West, Kareem Marcel. Good evening. It is a pleasure for me to bring greetings this evening from your sister constituency of Malabar Mausika, formerly Dabadi Omera. And I must say, it is a pleasure for me also to stand here as the PNM standard bearer for that beautiful constituency of Malabar Mausika. And I could tell you tonight, Malabar Mausika is red, ready, and responsible, and will be counted under the PNM's column on the night of April 28. But folks, my background, as the Honorable Camille Robinson Regis would have told you just now, is in finance. And I like to deal in facts. So I want to bring some facts here for you this evening as it pertains to finance. You see, one of the issues that this administration has taken a lot of licks for within recent time has been this 4% wage increase. You all know that, right? Well, I want to bring a fresh perspective on that. You see, one of the most consequential things that this administration did in the last 10 years that we don't talk enough about was the increase in your personal allowance. And that is something that I talk a lot about with my clients. Between 2015 to 2025, your government gave you 3 increases in your personal allowance. From 60,000 to 72, from 72 to 84, and then from 84 to 90. So someone who would have been working for $7,500 a month between 2010 to 2015 would have been paying $9,000 a year in income tax. As a result of the increase in that personal allowance from 60,000 in 2015 to 90, that person now pays no income tax. So when they look at their pay slip at the end of the month, under the section that says PAYE, they see 0. Between 2010 to 2015, they would have seen $625 every month. At the end of the year, they would have seen $7,500. A whole month's salary. So imagine you working for 12 months, but you only getting paid for 11 and 1 month for gratis. $7,500 going to the government, the Board of Inland Revenue in taxes. Today, because of that one measure, tens of thousands of citizens in this country no longer pay income tax. But that $625 that you're saving every month is a pay raise. That represents 8.3% of your salary that used to be going to the Board of Inland Revenue every month. Now it is going to your bank account. That is an additional $625 that you're taking home. So when you add that 8.3 to the 4%, you actually got 12.3%, not 4. But we're not talking about that. But you have these deceitful, hypocritical union leaders who come in to hold the government in a chokehold and saying 10% and nothing less. But when they go and they sit down in the boardrooms of the private sector, representing the private sector members, they take in less than 10. They take in 6 and 7. So they want to tell you the public servant who is earning $7,000 a month or $6,000 a month cannot live on a pay increase of less than 10%, but then telling you the private sector workers could live on 6 and 7%. That making sense? Could never make sense, because we go into the same grocery, we're paying for the same gas, the same cost of living. So when they come to tell you that this government's so wicked and only giving public servants 4%, remind them of that increase that we got in personal allowance. And it wasn't just for the public sector. The private sector got it too. So hundreds of thousands of citizens in this country got a pay raise from the government because of that. But you see, the other side want to give you the impression that this government wicked. You all remember in 2010 when they came in, they offered 5%. And when the union leaders said, we're not taking that, the kitten from Oropouche, who liked to call himself the lion, Rudal Munilal, you all remember he told the labor unions, take 5% and wind to the side. Disrespectful. But these union leaders forget that. So today they want to kill this administration. So all of them talking about yellow is the code. But they wearing green jersey, blue jersey, white jersey. They're confused. So you, Mr. Private Sector worker, every month your $100 coming out your pay to go to the union so that these men could enjoy the high life. They're telling you, we commiserate with the poor and the working class. How much money Roger making? What is Roger's salary? What is Felicia Thomas' salary? When Watson Duke became the president of the PSA, first thing he did was to buy a BMW 5 Series. And then he traded up to a Mercedes-Benz. One day I'm driving around the savannah, and I see this Mercedes-Benz pull up alongside me, and I look. And I see all the windows down, and the driver on the steering wheel, and he rock back. And when I peep, so I say, but that is Watson. I almost thought it was myself, because plenty of people say I look like him. But I better look it. When that vehicle got into an accident, he traded up to what? A Range Rover. But they're telling you they could commiserate with the poor and the working class. What Roger driving? What Batiste was driving? Ask them that. the next time they come to hoodwink you. But you see, I want to warn public sector workers. The leader of the opposition, who wants to be the next prime minister of this country, never, yes, never. For the last few months, she has been inviting us to go online and read their National Economic Transformation Plan, which is their solution to all of the issues facing Trinidad and Tobago's economy. Permit me to read for you from page 48 and 49 of that document. Here's what it says. Following consultations, a new UNC government will review, assess, and determination will be made on which state enterprises the state may want to hold on to on behalf of the people, which would do better in public-private partnerships. We will gradually reduce the level of state ownership or remove government from several state enterprises which have no strategic national importance or are a financial drain and have no prospect of viability. Y'all understand what that means? So while they jam in this government, they shut down Petrotrin. They don't know the difference between shutdown and restructure. But they are telling you in their National Economic Transformation Plan, which is their manifesto, put them in office, play fast and loose with your vote, and there will be several state enterprises that they intend to put into private hands. Not me say so. Look it here. Read it for yourself. So all of you all who want to take chain up, because Roger telling you 10% and Felicia telling you 10%, careful if you put them in office that instead of 10% you don't get a pink slip. Be careful with your vote. I keep telling people your vote is non-refundable. So if it is, you make the wrong decision on April the 28th, and then within 2 months you realize the mistake, you can't go back by the EBC and say, I make a mistake, I want a refund. You have to carry that for 5 years, 3 months, and 14 days. Be very careful. In 2010, they came with Cambridge Analytica. And I'm seeing shades of that every day when you go on social media. And you see all of these influencers who before never used to talk politics, but all of a sudden, yellow is the code. They could influence you. Can't influence me. They could probably influence the waterfront ilk. But not us. We will not be fooled. But in 2010, some of us were fooled. This constituency fell. My constituency fell. Penny's constituency fell. Don't forget that. The 6 constituencies that represent the red wall, 5 fell. Camille's stood strong. She stood in the gap. But I want to give her the assurance tonight. She will have support this time. They will not penetrate the red wall under no circumstances. UNC, under no circumstances. So when in 2010 they told you all, do so. You all remember that? They say when PNM come to ask you for your vote, do so. They disrespected Mr. Manning. Do so. Well, I want to ask you all tonight, when you see the yellow code comes in your neighborhood, looking for votes, knocking on your door, ringing your doorbell and calling at your gate, good evening, don't hide inside. Come outside. Meet them at the gate and tell them, rock so. It ain't no vote here. Keep walking. And if it is they don't understand that, tell them I asked the leader for instructions. She will give them a tutorial. And on the morning of the 28th of April, get up early, say your prayers, have a good breakfast, call your friends, call your family members, tell them we're going down to the polls to cast your ballot. When you get to the polling station, cast your ballot. Ram your finger in the ink up to your elbow. And if you could reach your shoulder, do that too. And then, on the night of April 28th, wherever we meet, if it's Balize House, in your house, wherever, we will all shout in one accord after God, because God is great. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM, and we have prevailed.
We rocking with Romy, Dominic, Romy, PNM, Romy, PNM, Romy.
In service you're a winner, development will trigger. Even the blind see progress, we always deliver. As much as our people pressing, you're a public figure. The youth wanna be like you when them get bigger. Come on in, Roman, Malabar, Mosika, Charignone.
Ladies and gentlemen, on April 28th, do so, put your X by the Balizé, because we are red, we are ready, and we are responsible. Dominic Romain, the next Member of Parliament for Malabar Mausaka. With over 30 years as an attorney, she has served this country in Parliament, in the Cabinet, and on the world stage in the United Nations. She has held several ministries in her career, from social development, culture and tourism, public utilities and the environment, housing and urban development, and now planning and development. She has led the global fight for gender equality and climate justice as our United Nations Ambassador and President of UN Women. From rural land deregularization to smart city innovation, Penny Beckers-Robinson is doing the real work, and ARIMA is seeing the results. So ARIMA, ensure that on April 28th, you walk proudly to the polls and vote for none other than Penny Beckers-Robinson, the next Member of Parliament for ARIMA, Penelope Beckers-Robinson.
Sweeping time. Sweeping time. Sweeping time. I was in the Lacoray when somebody showed me him. Somebody said, better not today. The boss could take care of them. And in this crowd was singing loud, going to the convention.
PNM people, come on, wake up, shake up, it's an earthquake in Horquetta. Great is the PNM. Yes, we want them to hear us in Siparia, in Faizabad, in Matlat, in Mayaro, in Tobago, that PLM is alive and well. We want to create an earthquake, and we want them to know that come the 28th, People's National Movement will return as the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Great is the PNM. Let me recognize, of course, I'm here in Horquetta Talparu. So I'm recognizing, first of all, because I'm in his space, my brother, the Honorable Foster Cummings, the next Member of Parliament for Horquetta Talparu. He's on his way and he's listening to this meeting. Our Honorable Prime Minister, the Member of Parliament for Port-au-Prince South, St. Anne's West, for Port-au-Prince North, St. Anne's West, the Honorable Stuart Young. My sister, the Honorable Camille Robinson Regis. And lighting up the stage, soon to be the Honorable Kareem Marcel, Member of Parliament for Laventille West. What a pleasure it is here to be in Horquetta. And some of you may not know, but I screened for Horquetta some years ago, so I have a special love for this constituency. No, you don't have to worry. I'm not screening. Your Member of Parliament is Foster Cummings. I am for RIMA. But what an absolute pleasure and privilege it is here to see you out in all your numbers, coming here to support the People's National Movement and to let them know in no uncertain terms that we are alive and well. I want to start by saying that I remembered that Foster and I spoke about agriculture and how we can help the farmers of Wallerfield and environs. And the UNC put up a poster that said that when we were going to do this really special and lovely event in Wallerfield, this is what they put up: how to land grab and get away with it. That is what they took our event, where we were encouraging the farmers and those interested in agriculture to attend a meeting. This was a very serious exercise, and I'm starting with that first and foremost because it is to remind you that they are so desperate that they will turn any activity and try and mislead you into believing that something that is good is not only bad, but that there is an element of corruption in it. So when, as Karim said, that they put this video of some of our people eating grass, and one of the most interesting things is that they would have you believe in Laventille West, in Laventille East Mova, in Port of Spain South, in Arima, in Horquetta, they will have you believe that the People's National Movement has done absolutely nothing for you. So what are they doing? They are now trying to portray us in certain constituencies and saying that, poverty, the PNM has done nothing for you. But this is a very important point. And I am asking you, please,
stems. Yes, I can hear them saying, boys, stop living in the past. Where can I find that energy?
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the current Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Stuart Richard Young, SC. Prime Minister Stuart Richard Young, Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. Our Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. to lead Trinidad and Tobago into a new chapter, ready to take us forward.
And support our leader.
So things could get better.
Prime Minister Stuart Young, La Horquetta Talparo welcomes you.
Effective leadership of NTNT, we love
La
him so.
Horquetta Talparo welcomes our Prime Minister Stuart Richard Young. La Horquetta Talparo welcomes the next Member of Parliament for Port of Spain, North St. West, and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
A man with energy, always checking for you. Don't let up at all. Let's answer when we go.
Stuart Young is ready to lead. He is all in, ready to lead us into a new chapter, ready to,
I went and checked it. They said
ready to be all in for TNT.
tell them reference is so. A man with energy, always checking for you. Don't let up at all. Let's answer when we go.
With ear can go up, he always vibrant and is strong.
Stuart is here, ladies and gentlemen. Stuart Young, red, ready and resilient. Welcome, Prime Minister Stuart Richard Young.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. An earthquake. The entrance of our Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart Richard Young, has created an earthquake. Come on. So as I was saying a while ago about that, this how to land grab and how to get away with it. A very serious exercise that was being done by Foster myself and Mr. Masai in the agricultural community of Wallafield. So don't take it light about the fact that this UNC government is prepared to lie, they are prepared to mislead, just in order and the hope that they are going to get into government. But let them know, look at this crowd today. The People's National Movement is ready again for the government and to lead Trinidad and Tobago come the 20th of April, 2025. But I just want to remind you that they would have you believe. I was making the point a while ago before our Honorable Prime Minister came. I was making the point that they will have you believe that the People's National Movement has done nothing. And they want to go to communities and portray that the government and the PNM has done nothing in several areas. But I want to remind you, from time to time, when the Honorable Camille Robinson Regis, the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Foster Cummings, or myself, when we get up in the Parliament to answer questions about what it is the government has done, what do you hear the UNC say? The UNC have been saying that we have been spending all our money in PNM constituencies. So which is it? Is it that we're not spending any money? Or is it that we are spending money? Because when it is convenient to them, they want to convince the population of Trinidad and Tobago that we are spending all our money in PNM areas, and when it is convenient, they want to convince you otherwise. But let me remind you, the people of La Horquetta, I recall when I left San Fernando, and I came here to live many years ago, because my father was employed at Trinidad Home Developers Limited. constructing these houses here in La Horquetta, in Santa Rosa Heights, in Maloney. And let us remember, in La Horquetta, you have phase 1, you have phase 2, you have phase 3, you have phase 4, you have phase 5, you have phase 6, and you have phase 7, all constructed by the People's National Movement. And that is development. That is performance in the housing sector. And just if you drive 10 minutes away, you have Malabar, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. And in these, just surrounding these areas, there are many housing developments constructed by the People's National Movement. And I want to use an example that I used recently, that you have the option when you are coming from Port of Spain, coming to Arima, going to Sandy Grande. You have the highway, you have the Eastern Main Road, and you have the Priority Bus Route, all built and constructed by the People's National Movement. Let's not forget that. And yes, you need to make some noise for that. So whether it is in the housing sector, whether it is in the health sector, because one of the most modern hospitals was opened recently in Arima by the People's National Movement. So that La Horquetta is a testament to the vision of the People's National Movement. And we know very well that when the People's National Movement started decades ago, what was the vision of Dr. Eric Williams? We are talking about education, and we're talking about fiscal responsibility. And La Horquetta is not just about houses. La Horquetta is about a community. I had the good fortune a couple months ago to attend the opening of a state-of-the-art library constructed right here based on the request of the Honorable Foster Cummins. And yes, give it up for him. A library with all the modern infrastructure for children who can learn the use of Wi-Fi. And that is the kind of vision that you would find under the People's National Movement. Sporting facilities that is second to none. And you know that La Horquetta has now produced the La Horquetta Rangers football team. Yes. With the full support of your Member of Parliament. There are also several basketball teams. But I want to spend a little time speaking about your Member of Parliament and why you should vote for the Honorable Foster Cummins. And we could talk about a man who has been self-made, a man who came from humble beginnings and is now has utilized the policies and programs of the People's National Movement to become a minister of government today. Let's give it up for Foster. I don't want to go through all the programs because Kareem listed almost all of them. But I want to talk about NEDCO, where he has been championing the grants and the support for small businesses, business accelerator grants, youth micro grants, entrepreneurial relief. Because Foster does not just talk about opportunity. Foster makes sure that he invests in the youth and invests in the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So let me just say, and I want to make sure that you listen carefully to what I'm about to say. Foster has delivered over the last 5 years. He has established the Palo Seco National Service Complex, revitalized facilities like the Barcelona Street Youth Center, and expanded technical vocational training to communities all across Trinidad and Tobago. In agriculture, Landmark programs such as the Youth Agricultural Homestead Program and the Youth Agricultural Shade House Project have equipped hundreds of aspiring persons interested in land and in agriculture, training and grants, while the Youth Aquaculture Project opened new frontier in fishing, farming for Trinidad and Tobago youth. The Micro and Small Business Grant Program provided startup funding and mentorship to hundreds of budding entrepreneurs. And why have I taken time to make sure that you are aware of it? I'm coming back to what I said before about the UNC campaigning continuously and trying to convince you that the People's National Movement has done nothing for the youth, for women, for men, and for people. I talked about housing. I talked about the health care. I talked about the fact that Foster and I sat and discussed. And we know that there are several people in Wallerfield, in Talparo, and several of the agricultural communities who have been waiting for years for your leases. So what did we do? We bought the ADB. We bought the Commissioner of State Land. We bought agriculture. And we came to the communities and we sat with almost every individual from 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening so that we can make sure that we understand the challenges. And that is leadership. And that is why you should vote for Foster Cummings. As I have said on more than one occasion, you need to ask yourself, there is a long, long list of persons who are leaving the UNC. They are leaving by droves. They are abandoning the UNC. So no matter what you tell me, and no matter what they tell you, you need to ask yourself, when a house on fire and people running, what you running into the fire for? Ragbir, gone. Christine Nawala Hussein, gone. Colin Partap, Dennis Rambali, Joel D'Souza, Larry Lala, Victor Roberts, Marsha Walker, and almost just now, the UNC have no members because all of them so really, when you think about it, if you have something good and you have something to market, you really think you're going to pay people to join it? You really think that you will be paying people on a daily basis? I mean, I'm hearing figures like $40,000 and $50,000 that they will be paying people who are not members, you know, but you call it a pickup site. Anyway, you see people who are willing to go and bad talk the PNM, they pick them up, they pay them, and they put them on the television to bad talk the PNM. But I tell you, let them continue to bad talk the PNM, because the more they bad talk the PNM, we have been strong, we have been vigilant, and come the 28th, people will vote for the People's National Movement. So, I know from time to time, when I see some of you, you start to get a little worried. And why are you worried? You're worried because you cannot believe some of the things that you are hearing. You cannot believe that people will take the time to make a video and just lie for no reason. But they are being paid to lie. As you would recall, in 2020, when they realized that things were so difficult, what did they do? They start bringing microwave, they bring fridge, they bring TV, they bring bed, and they gave it. Sometimes when Foster and I were walking, somebody would tell you, come in the house. Every single thing in the house knew, courtesy the UNC. And what they tell us? We go lie down on the bed, we go use the microwave, we go use the fridge, and we go vote for the PNM. So that it is very important when people want to communicate with you about leadership, when they want to communicate about vision, when they want to communicate with you about why you should vote for them, they would never talk about a code. Politics is not about a code. We have an honorable Prime Minister, we have our lady Vice Chairman, you have your candidates. This is no secret. There is no secret about the performance of the People's National Movement. We are proud about our record. We are proud about our legacy. And therefore, we will never speak about a code. Yellow is the code for them. Do not get tied up. Because if you are proud about your legacy, you will speak about it. And you will shout to the rooftop that there is reasons for you to vote with the PNM. You won't come secretly and be handing people jersey with money in it and trying to fool them with putting all kind of thing in the house and buy shoes for them to walk. We don't need to do that. We have a track record starting from Dr. Eric Williams to George Chambers to Patrick Manning to Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley and now to the Honorable Stuart Richard Young. Recently, I saw an article in the newspapers talking about the fact that I went to Valencia. And in going to Valencia, I had some challenge with the people of Valencia. Let me just tell you this. The constituency of Arima is very large. It starts all the way in Las Cuevas, and it goes all the way now to Valencia. So that they want to say that the PNM went to Valencia and there's some challenge. But let me tell you something. And I want to say to the people of Valencia, I walked in Mount Carmel, I walked in Flamboyant Crescent, I walked in Casarina Boulevard, Sapodilla Drive, Sip Crescent, Quarry Road, Seattle Circular, Orchid Drive, and I want to tell the UNC that the PNM is going to win in Valencia. You know, as I close, because, you know, our Honorable Prime Minister is going to speak, and of course, your candidate, Foster Cummins, is going to speak. But let me just say this to you. There is a reason why the People's National Movement is offering itself to be the government. There is a reason why. And when you have, as a party, 50+ years of track record of service, of delivery of service in every single area, we can boast that we have delivered, that we have the solution and we have the answer. Now, let me make it clear. It's important for us to say, and I say it as a member of Parliament, I would love, and I know the Honorable Prime Minister and all of my colleagues here, that if we have enough funds to be able to pave all the roads and to provide you with all the housing and to provide you with all the schools. But it is not always that simple and that easy. I'm the Minister of Planning and Development. I'm responsible for the public sector investment program for the projects. And there is not a single member of Parliament, or Kareem or Dominic, who is now going to be members of Parliament come the 28th of April, that you will not go to for housing, for pension, for public assistance, that you will not go to them and ask for assistance. But don't let the UNC fool you into believing that your members of Parliament are not delivering for you. Because when you think about it over the years, some of you here have 3 cars in your garage. Some of you have 4. Some of you have 1. Some of you have less. Some of you depend on the bus to travel. But I want to remind you that all of those are because of policies of the People's National Movement. When we sit and we discuss our budget, when we think about how we spend the money, it's on every area. And yes, we talk about crime, and there isn't any individual in the People's National Movement who does not want you to be safe. But you must compare our policies, and you must compare the policies of the United National Congress. Listen carefully when they come to you and they tell you that they are going to increase your salary by 10%. They're going to give you this. You don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to pay property tax. Every single one of you here, and this is the last point I'm going to make, you have traveled all over the world. And you come back and you ask yourself, why it is the bus cannot be on time, why it is that you can't have, in some cases, you want more schools, you want more hospitals. You go to Canada, you go to Europe, you go to the United States, and you listen and you ask yourself, how much taxes are people paying on their properties? There are many members of the UNC that have properties in Miami, and they are paying all their taxes, and they understand very well. If you want the best schools, if you want quality schools, if you want the best bus service, if you want best education, who is going to pay for it? Money is not dropping from the sky. And do not let them fool you. You remember in 2010, when they came into office, they told you that every single individual will get a pension of $3,000. Don't let your memory be short. It was written into their manifesto. And as soon as they got in office, and we filed the question, when the 3,000 come in, what did they tell you? It was a misprint. Don't get tied up, because plenty of the promises are going to be misprints. They are going to be lies. So I want to warn you, as the young people say, don't get tied up. Come the 28th of April, get up early, as we would say in Trinipalans, brush your teeth. You can eat when you come back. Go to the polls. Go to the polls. This is not a time for you to say, I know, I going, I get a job, I get a house, I get a this, I get a that. It will come after. Go to the polls on the 28th. Go to the polls and vote for Kareem Marcel in Laventon West. Vote for Foster Cummins in Horquetta Talparo. Vote for Dominique Romaine in Malabar Mausica. Vote for Camille Robinson Raythees in Maloney. And vote for our Honorable Prime Minister in Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. I want to close by saying to you, I have the great honor of being the candidate for the constituency of Arima. And I want to say to you, great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail.
Sweeping time. Sweeping time. Sweeping time. I was in the Lacoray when somebody showed me him. Somebody said.
On April 28th, walk proudly to the polls and vote. Vote solidly for Penelope Beckers Robinson, the next Member of Parliament for Arima. With over 30 years in the PNM trenches, an MBA in his hand, and your concerns in his heart, he has transformed the lives of many young people throughout Trinidad and Tobago. through skills training, youth programs, and real economic opportunities. As Minister of Youth Development and National Service, he has invested in your sons and daughters, not in old talk. He is a man of the community, a man of vision, a man who will go the extra mile for the people of the constituency of La Horquetta Talparo. He is building the next city in the east after Trin City Maloney. Ladies and gentlemen, with his wife by his side, Juliet Cummings, I ask you to welcome Foster Cummings, the next Member of Parliament for La Horquetta Talparo.
We're moving forward with Foster, and we now look back. La Horquetta Talparo, we on the right track. If you want more improvement, vote Foster back. If you want more development, we're moving forward with Foster, and we now look back. La Horquetta Talparo, we on the right track. If you want more improvement, vote Foster back. If you want more development, vote Foster back. Forward with Foster, and we not lose. Forget about what's the name, cause them boys all use. We do it for the people, we not do it for the views. So let me tell you why it's Foster Cummings I choose. It's a brand new library, it just open up on a community center right on the same spot. Training center soon come, cause Foster won't stop till La Horquetta Talparo pant up. It's forward with Foster, and we not look back. La Horquetta Talparo, we on the right track. If you want more improvement, vote Foster back. If you want more development, we're moving forward with Foster.
Piano.
Talparo, we on the right track. If you want more improvement, vote Foster back. If you want more development, vote Foster.
The Lord is my shepherd. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He layeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. I hear a rumbling. I'm hearing a rumbling. I am hearing a rumbling from the mountain. I hearing a rumbling from the mountain. And the noise is getting louder and louder. And the sound is going PNM, 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 PNM. Oh, what a beautiful meeting. But when you come into La Horquetta, you have to feel the vibration. This is the place where we manufacture balize. When you're going to Wallerfield, Talparo, Todd's Road, Mamaral, we have plenty bush. We are an agricultural constituency, and we have balize growing all over. When you cut it down and you think the plant dead, as soon as the rain fall, it shoot back up and the suckers continue. And it's balize, 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 balize. And when they look at what we're doing here in La Horquetta, they must know, rock so. Have no room here for you. Have no yellow code here. This is a city in the making. This is the city of the Red Brigade. No room here for you. Give our Prime Minister La Horquetta welcome.
Our Lady Vice Chairman, Camille Robinson Regis, give her a Horquetta welcome. Penny Beckles from Arima, give her a Horquetta welcome. Dominic Romain, Kareem Marcel, and say a shout out to Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. So here now, I have a piece of old talk for you. Trinidad and Tobago, good night. This is how we do it in the city of La Horquetta. I hear they were choosing candidates in the other party. The candidate they sent for me the last time, they called the candidate and say, hey, you are the person to go back and deal with Foster in La Horquetta Del Paro. JJ said, not me again. I'm not going back there. I get licks once. I share fridge, I share stove, I share bed, I share microwave. I know them people still about PNM. I'm not taking no licks twice. They say, well, if you can't go, tell us who. Somebody in the back of the room called Judas. The chairman of the meeting said, no, that is not parliamentary language. What about the fella called kilowatts? Well, there could be watty, there could be kilowatts, there could be megawatts. This is Foster Cummins' tongue. La Horquetta belongs to the PNM and Foster Cummins. Roxo. When you come into the city, you meet the mayor at the door. And the mayor in the tongue is Foster Cummins. Roxo. Listen to me. We're going to pepper them with licks. We're going to widen the margin. And you see all the people in these houses around here listening to me? I want every single vote from every single house, on every single street, on every single avenue, all over La Horquetta, Greenvale, and Waterfield. It's PNM, 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 PNM. Listen. All you wake me up, you know. All you wake me up. I want to take 1 second and express condolences to the family of the Sanderford family, the Sanchez family, and the Joseph family, members of my campaign team who lost their relatives recently. We want on behalf of the PNM to express condolences to you. And I want to welcome and recognize all the members of the PNM. I see so many colleagues from the cabinet here, colleagues from the executive of the PNM. Welcome to La Horquetta. We are transforming lives. We are not just putting down concrete and blocks. We are transforming lives in La Horquetta. We are changing the way that people live. We are investing in the future of Trinidad and Tobago. Not only in La Horquetta, but all over Trinidad and Tobago. The youths are our focus. We are not interested in handouts. I said to my young people, as they came here with their bag of money, I told you that when I was in Shogunas, as they came with their bag of money to try to corrupt the young people of La Horquetta, I said to them, get your counterfeit pen and check out those notes. Get your pen and check those notes out. Do not let them buy your soul and your spirit. We are worth more than dollars and cents. But if it passes the counterfeit test, take it. I want to recognize chairman of my constituency of La Horquetta Del Paro, Mr. Ratan Singh, campaign manager and team. and my very supportive and lovely wife, Juliet, who is here with me tonight. I'm sorry that I don't always follow your advice not to shout on the platform, but when I get here and the Balizé bug bite me, honey, I just have to let people know, PNM, 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 PNM. This yellow code thing, I want to spend a minute or two dealing with this yellow code thing. Listen to me. The yellow code is their way of trying to influence and suppress votes in communities like La Horquetta and Maloney and Caranage. They somehow feel, I want to spend 2 minutes on that before I tell you about all the lovely things we have been doing in La Horquetta Talparo, so my colleagues could get jealous. Don't be fooled by the UNC voter suppression tactics. They sat down with their consultants and they said, listen, in 2010, we tried a do-so campaign. Dominic told you about it. And we planned this thing in such a way that we were able to suppress 6% of the votes in particular constituencies to skew the results in favor of the UNC. And so I want Trinidad and Tobago to pay particular attention to what I'm about to say. And don't take my word for it. What I can tell you is for their social media influencers, we have the information. Trinidad is a small place, you know. They have offered to social media influencers from communities like La Horquetta and Maloney and Caranage, if you have, and Port of Spain North, if you have more than 30,000 followers, they will pay you $5,000 a week. For that money, you must post at least 3 times a day until the elections. If you have more than 40,000 followers, they will pay you $7,500 per week. And you have to post at least 4 to 5 times a day. And if you have over 50,000 followers, they will pay you $10,000 a week. And you have to post non-stop every day. A short video that you will make in your bedroom or your kitchen, you have seen them. It's talking about yellow is the code. Saying repeatedly that you're fed up of the PNM. And yellow is the code. And bad talk Rowley and Young as much as possible. That is what they have presented to the people of Trinidad and Tobago in an effort to suppress the vote. Because they feel if they suppress the vote, if they could fool you and encourage you to stay home and talk about I don't vote and yellow is the code, etc., they can steal government and get back in the treasury and take your money and put it in their back bedroom that they have prepared for $100 bills. They did it and they tried it in 2010 and they were a bit successful. Let me quote for you. You know, it doesn't give me any pleasure to read things like this, you know, because we are a cosmopolitan country. We love each other. We eat roti and pilau on the same plate, and we have no problem with each other. There's a fellow called Alexander Nix. He's the founder of Cambridge Analytica. And let me tell you what Nix had to say. This is not Foster coming saying. So those who are taking notes in the media, if you were not paying attention before, pay attention now. What I'm about to quote doesn't come from the Cummins Handbook. It comes from a fellow called Alexander Nix, who is the founder of Cambridge Analytica. I quote, "We are a behavior change agency." You hear that? Behavior change. The holy grail of communications is when you can start to change behavior. To be fair, this is a great, interesting case history of how we look at problems. He was referring to their job here in Trinidad and Tobago. He says, Nix says, There are two main political parties, one for the blacks and one for the Indians. And you know, they go after each other. I had to just correct what he said. I didn't want to say exactly what he said. They go after each other. That is more acceptable for the public consumption. He didn't say that. He said they did something else to each other. So we were working for the Indians. We went to the client and we said, we want to target the youth. And we try and increase apathy. That's, to get them so not interested in politics and voting. The campaign had to be non-political because the kids don't care about politics. He goes on to say, it had to be reactive because they are lazy. So we came up with this campaign, which was all about being part of a gang. Do something cool. Be part of a movement. And it was called the Do So campaign. It means I'm not going to vote. Do so, don't vote. That's what they were doing. A salute of resistance that is known all across Trinidad and Tobago. Do so, do so, do so. It's a sign of resistance against not the government, but against politics and voting. Run with it. They are making their own YouTube videos. It was inaccurate. We knew that when it came to voting, all the Afro-Caribbean kids wouldn't vote because of Do So. But all the Indian kids will do what their parents told them to do, which is to go out and vote. Media, remember, I am quoting Alexander Nix. They had a lot of fun doing this, but they are not going to go against their parents' will. Thank God for the guidance that has brought us here. Thank you, God. And the difference in 18 to 35-year-old turnout is like 40%. And that will win the election. All we need is about 6% in an election that's very close. We now undertake 10 national campaigns for prime ministers and presidents. Ladies and gentlemen, that was in 2010. In 2025, because they feel we foolish, they ain't come back with Do So. They come now with yellow is the code. And they expect that they can inject that in you to cause you young people not to come out of your house and vote. I say to you, do not allow the UNC to fool you and manipulate you. They are trying to get into your head. Reject the yellow code. Reject the yellow code. Red is the word. Red is the word. Red is the word. Red is the word. Reject them. Because the PNM approach is not to discourage you from voting. We want to encourage you to take part in the political process. Our means of development for you is empowerment. We want to empower you. We don't want to hand you a $40,000 or $50,000 and next week you're broken and you don't know where to turn. We want to educate you and prepare you for a life of independence. And therefore, let me share with you just a few things that we have been doing here in La Horquetta Talparo. To assist in that, we have constructed one of the most modern facilities here, the La Horquetta Public Library. To promote learning, to encourage access to information. It is a safe space for our young people. To encourage cultural enrichment through the use of the auditorium and the amphitheater, that facility. It is a multi-use building with entrepreneurship shops for small business, free access to resources like books and technology, literary support, and connecting people with shared interests. That is what we're doing here in La Horquetta. We're not interested in fooling young people. And then, to add to that, we recognize that some of our young people did not do so well at secondary school. But we still want them to be the best version of themselves. So we have to equip them with the necessary skills to make sure that they are more marketable. Do we sit by and wait for them to find that on their own? No. Within the community, we are bringing skills training, technical vocational learning within the community. So a couple of months ago, we turned the sod for the brand new Youth Development Center right here in La Horquetta. So, if you want to be a carpenter, a mason, a joiner, a plumber, an electrician, computer programmer, you name it, a wide range of skills all the way up to CVQ level. You could work locally, regionally, or internationally. We are taking our young people off the street, away from idleness and unproductive activity and behavior, and we are preparing them for a life, a productive life. That is what we're doing. In addition to that, my cabinet colleagues, some of them right behind me, has approved the construction of a brand new secondary school for the young people of La Horquetta. An investment of approximately $200 million. That is how much we love you. This is not all talk. We are going to do it. We have committed a decision already to do it. And I thank the members of the cabinet for their support in that direction. Only a couple days ago, that's about a few hundred feet behind me, we turned the sod for the construction of a brand new swimming pool for the residents of La Horquetta and environs. The Coast Guard is going to be involved with the young people, training them how to swim like a fish, like Indara could swim. And soon to come, we have already identified the land, and Cabinet has already approved the project. UDCOT is currently engaged in doing the design and the procurement for the construction of a brand new youth camp in Wallerfield, a residential learning facility. And all of this is projects in La Horquetta del Paro, but I don't have all night. So if I go on to read all about the road stabilization projects, the concrete drain, the landslip repair, the bridge reconstruction, slope stabilization, drainage works, Mamoral Savannah, Tamana Road, Wassa Well, Starter Home, Wassa Pump, bridge reconstruction, road paving, recreation ground. Community center in Greenvale, brand new center in La Horquetta, brand new center in Wallerfield. That is your MP on the job working for you. They could come with how much electricity, what they want. This town is P&M town. But I know people are applying to come and live in La Horquetta. I tell them, hold on. You don't want to be charged for voter pardon. Wait until after the election. But we have space here. We have room here. You could come and feel welcome to live in La Horquetta del Paro anytime after the election. And for all of Trinidad and Tobago, I'm spending my next few minutes telling you about the work of the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, because when you go to vote, you must remember that the UNC closed down all the youth camps in Trinidad and Tobago. You must remember that the UNC closed down all the programs for youth development. They left our young people on the street, susceptible to being recruited by gang leaders and people with criminal intent. and then they wanted to come and talk about crime. You, UNC, created the incubator for the crime in Trinidad and Tobago. You, the UNC. When our young people would go to the youth camps and upskill themselves and come out and go and be able to take care of their families and work and go into business, you shut it down because you did not like the project. You didn't like it because it did not benefit those who you thought you must serve. When you are elected to government, the PNM serves all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It matters not to me. It matters not to me. It matters not to Young. It matters not to Penny or any member of the PNM, whether you're from Felicity, Barrackpore, Pinal, Siparia, Chaguanas, Toco, Port of Spain, Tobago, as long as you are a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. We represent all. We are the only political party. We are the only political party that has fielded 41 candidates in every constituency in Trinidad and in every constituency in Tobago. They claim to be a national party and they cannot field a candidate in Tobago. There is no country called Trinidad. There is no country called Tobago. There is only the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So understanding the problems that face us, crime fighting is not locking up people and throwing them in prison. That's one aspect of it. You go afoul of the law, the police will deal with you. But one of the things you have to do is understand some of the social problems that may cause young people to be idle and unproductive, and you have to get them on the productive path. So what have we done as a government? We took a decision that we will invest hundreds of millions of your taxpayers' dollars to create the ecosystem of support that is necessary for the fullness of the development of the youth. We open agricultural programs. And we have trained, I repeat it, we have trained 1,400 young farmers to make sure you can get food at a cheaper price, to reduce our food import bill. We give them land, we giving them starter home, and we giving them a grant, and we give them all the support that they need. And nothing the UNC says will deter us from that strategy. Land is not for you alone. My constituents in Horquetta want land to plant, to rear animals, to plant cabbage, tomatoes, lettuce, pak choy. They love the land. And I'm sure the constituents all over Trinidad have been taking great advantage of that program. Go on the ministry website, www.mydns.gov.tt, and you will see that we have the Youth Agriculture Homestead Program, the Youth Agricultural Shade House Program, the Youth Aquaculture Program, the Community Business Shade House Program, the Drive Program for automotive servicing, the All Set Program that will train you in heavy equipment operation, backhoe, skid steer, loader, dump truck, bulldozer, excavator, backhoe. The U-Tech program for the soft skills in barbering, nail tech, cosmetology. Then we have the CRISP program, air conditioning and refrigeration. And we're taking the career caravan and we are coming into your community wherever you are. We're not waiting for you to read the papers, watch the news, or go on social media. We are bringing the programs within your community in a caravan. You can sign up on the spot. And if you hear about it, tell your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, and your friends. Project Trending. Training young people how to operate business using social media. Youth on Stage, the National Youth Festival Talent Search. 40 under 40, which is the program, the mentorship program. We have Amplify, that is a music production program. We have PLAR, that is a prior learning assessment program. So if you're a tailor, you know to sew well, but you have no certification, we take you in and we move you towards certification. We have the drilling rig operations program, so we can train you to go and work in the energy sector. We have the linesman training program. Some of them graduated this morning so that they can work in T&Tech or elsewhere in the industry. We have the pipe program, plumbing skills, the hoist program, crane operations, the IMAP program, which is the industrial training program. And to do all of that, to top it off, I'll tell you the rest next time I'm speaking to you. We give you the National Entrepreneurship Micro Enterprise Grant. So you have a choice to make. You have a choice to make. You could decide to fall for yellow code and stay home and say, I man don't vote. Or you could decide you want these programs to continue for the benefit of the young people of Trinidad and Tobago, to take them off the street, to steer them away from crime. And you could decide, I, the citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, who loves this country, birthed by Eric Williams, will cast my vote solidly for the People's National Movement. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Join me in saying, great is the PNM. On April 28th, wherever you are, you get up early, you say your prayers. By 6 o'clock, you're in front of the polling station, and you take your voting finger and put the X next to the candidate that has the symbol of the Balize, and we'll all be able to save Trinidad and Tobago from the reckless, thieving UNC. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Turn up the mic, all right.
Look at that, Alparo! All protocols observed. Come. Sing.
As I lay myself, yeah. Though I pray my soul, you keep. If I should die, I hope my soul, you not save, Lord. Yeah. God Lucifer is roaming. What? Trying to destroy the little children. You see that man gone.
We ready to kill Satan? PNM family ready?
And do you know? Yeah. And yeah. Do you know God? Yeah.
PNM, come.
Anyway, tell them I need my solo too, suddenly, pray the Lord, my solo too, kill it. If I see that before la will it, pray the Lord, my solo too, tell it. Many have Kalalam, many have Galan, leave it there, la, Baba Bila, no, Lord, la, like, and I do the wrong.
Look at that, Alparo!
I do. Do you know? Kareem, hey, I know joy, yeah.
It ain't no yellow, it's no code. Red is the word. Come, come, come. I can see your love is pouring. I ain't know you. I can see Satan is going. Jah keep giving us his wonderful blessing. Your P&M family. Tell them la 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 la. Pull up. Somebody say yeah, yeah. Say don't you know P&M is so terrifying, Lord. I hear the people them bawling out, screaming out. Yo, yo, P&M. Tell them say read them up. P&M family.
Tell me, are you ready?
On tongue in the back, are you ready? To build back a country. We forward with the young army. Oh, no ready then, no ready then. Come, come, say let's treat me and go while you're ready. We rolling with the red army. You for the love of your country. Place your foot with the P&M family. Treat me and go get ready. We rolling with the red army. You for the love of your country. Place your foot with the P&M family. Say come on my people, let's stand together. Underneath the red, white and black banner, yo. Burn out corruption like leaves, it a scatter. We tricks and insult the people, them flatter. The partnership done sink already. So rolling and then with the young army. I need the right time. I made up my mind
To build back this
everybody. I know you. You for the love of your country. Place your vote with the P&M family. Treat me and go get ready. Laugh and take.
For the love of your country, make sure you vote for the P&M family.
We often boast and say God is a Trinity. A blessed nation, the Caribbean envy. All of a sudden, like the place get heavy. Things not move right, but no like ugly. So come on, my people, let's do this together. Build back this nation for one another. Say come on, the children deserve better, brighter days.
A beautiful future.
So let's
Treat me and go while you're ready. Rolling with the red army.
you for the love of your country. Place your vote for the
P&M family.
Treat me and go while you're ready. We rolling with the red army.
For the love of your country, make sure you vote for the P&M.
Pull up. Somebody say, great is the P&M. Great is the P&M. Great is the P&M. And we shall prevail.
Red is the word. Red is the word. Before I introduce our next speaker, I just want to tell Foster that he is doing very well, coming as he is after the city of Trin-City, Maloney. Secondly, I want to tell Foster that he is not the only one with a darling spouse. My darling spouse is here too. But what I want to tell you here tonight in La Horquetta Talparo is that you must From courtroom battles to national negotiations, Stuart Young has taken on every challenge with dedication and patriotism. Stuart Young has never said, put party before country. For Stuart Richard Young SC, it has always been country before party. But the only party that he knows can always put country before party is the People's National Movement. In his over 1 decade in active politics, he has served as an opposition senator. He has served as minister in the office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs, Minister of National Security, Minister of Communication, Minister in the office of the Prime Minister, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, and now he is the 8th Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Stuart Young is poised with your support to be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. He has negotiated and renegotiated our energy contracts, rebuilt our energy future, secured our future for generations to come. As Minister of National Security, he, along with the ministry, faced every threat head-on and stood resolute. As Prime Minister, he is unsinkable. He is unshakable. He is unmatched. He is a determined fighter for Trinidad and Tobago. Stuart Young will never be asked a question and just say blah, 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 blah. On April 28th, Stuart Richard Young Senior Counsel is not just defending his seat of Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. He is coming up as a patriot in defense of Trinidad and Tobago. Stuart Richard Young SC has proven himself as a patriot. He is dedicated. He is a personification of red, ready, and resilient. Join with me in welcoming the next Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Chairman of the People's National Movement, Stuart Richard Young, our patriot, our Prime Minister, our next Prime Minister, Stuart Richard Young, Senior Counsel.
A man with energy, always checking for me. Don't let up at all, let's answer when we call.
With ear that go rock, he always vibrant and he's strong, energetic and he young,
Scotty. When I hear it, I didn't believe it. I went and checked it. They say he revs it.
We have a new leader, he's strong with real power, the best in Trinidad. Tell them we're facing so.
Scotty, a man with energy, always checking for me. Don't let up at all, let's answer when we call. Scotty.
La Horquetta Talparo. Good night, good night, good night. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to thank the next Member of Parliament for La Horquetta Talparo, our General Secretary, our Minister of Youth Development and National Service, returning as the Member of Parliament for La Horquetta Talparo, Foster Cummings. Our Lady Vice Chair of the powerful National Women's League of the People's National Movement, our Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, and the next Member of Parliament for Trincity Maloney, Camille Robinson Regis. Our Minister of Planning and Development, our Member of Parliament for Arima, who on the night of the 28th of April will be declared the Member of Parliament for Arima once again, Minister Penny Beckles. And tonight with particular pride right here in my heart, as the chairman of the People's National Movement, as someone who will fight for country and fight for party and fight for every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, I am proud of the People's National Movement for attracting and selecting in Laventille West, young Kareem Marcel. And to attract the talent of another St. Mary's boy, the talent of from Mausica Malabar, Dominic Romain. And I believe we have two deputy political leaders. Dr. Nyan Gatsby Dolly has joined us, as well as Minister Rohan Sinanan, and to all the other executives of the People's National Movement. Good night to all of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and to all of the persons assembled here in La Horquetta Talparo tonight in your thousands. Allow me to start off by telling a few stories. Because you see, on the 28th of April, we all have an important choice to make. We will be deciding the future of Trinidad and Tobago on the 28th of April. And every time around election time, you always have people selling snake oil, people selling promises, people telling lies, and people trying to misinform. But we are lucky. We are lucky in Trinidad and Tobago that we have the opportunity to judge 41 candidates from the People's National Movement versus a pickup side on the other side, and to judge by actions, not words. And what I am asking you tonight, as someone who cares deeply about Trinidad and Tobago, is measure the PNM team by its actions over the last 9.5 years plus. Because you see, let me tell you a little bit about me and La Horquetta Talparo. How many of you all remember when we had that unprecedented, disastrous flooding in Greenvale, not too far away from here, in October of 2018? I recall I was Minister of National Security, getting a call from our councillors at the Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation, getting a call from the Met Office that we were expecting high levels of rainfall that had the potential to cause flooding. Immediately, I was in church when I got that call that night. I came out, I told the Defense Force, gather all of the equipment we have, got on to the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, said gather all of the equipment and place it strategically across the east-west corridor, but in particular, let's pay attention to La Horquetta. Unfortunately, through an act of God, as we call it, Greenvale, not too far from here, received massive amounts of water. And the water levels just started rising and rising. Throughout that whole night, I was in contact with our Defense Force and in particular the Coast Guard, in contact with the fire services to make sure that we had by that time life rafts that could go in. Early the next morning, I joined then Prime Minister Dr. Rowley right there on the outskirts of Greenvale as we witnessed firsthand the disaster that was taking place. Later that day, I assembled our air guard and I was able to monitor it from the air and also to do an emergency landing in the middle of Greenvale to see what we could assess so we could give information to those who were doing the work. After the water dropped, I was one of the first people on the ground, along with the regional corporation and the Defense Force, walking every single household in Greenvale to monitor, to give encouragement, and to make sure that the resources were put there. And that is what we have to judge our leaders by. The next time I visited La Horquetta, again as Minister of National Security, we were planning how to deal with the difficult issue of crime. At the time, unfortunately, there were high levels of criminality taking place in certain areas of La Horquetta. But you see, it's easy for a person in leadership to just read what they send you, to listen to what people tell you, and to just say, okay, well, you go ahead. I didn't do that. I told the Commissioner of Police, the Chief of Defense Staff, and all of their officers to meet me on the ground right here in La Horquetta. And we literally walked from the top down to the back so I could understand what was going on, and I could understand the demarcations. I could understand where the playing field was, where the swimming pool was, and why certain residents were concerned and couldn't utilize it. And you see, that type of action helped me many years later when my colleague Foster Cummings came to cabinet and he said, I want another pool in La Horquetta. I was able to say, even though it's in the same area, another pool makes sense because of the specific way, unfortunately, certain parts of La Horquetta are. But what it also allowed me to do is see firsthand, speak to residents, speak to constituents, and get a better understanding of how we could help La Horquetta. The third story is a sad one. It is a sad story. Not too far away from here, at a household in La Horquetta, on a Christmas Eve, one of their sons, who was a police officer, was doing a little work in central Trinidad in Cunupia at a supermarket, acting as security, and his life was taken by the criminal elements that night on a Christmas Eve. On Christmas morning, I located the family, the household, and I paid them a very, very quiet visit. Because you see, people were saying, well, take the media with you, take people with you. That is not my style. My style is a genuine one. My style is one of caring for people. And I am asking Trinidad and Tobago, right here in La Horquetta, with those three stories, to judge this PNM team and to judge me as your leader by the actions we have taken to show how we care. It is not by standing and saying, and you must analyze some of the promises being made by Kamala Prasad Bisesa. I will give you baby milk, and I will give you laptops, and throwing things at us that she thinks may entice us, because that is how, unfortunately, they view some in our society. But tonight, my first message is a serious one about what is taking place. And I decided, you know what? You're not going to hear it from Dominic. You're not going to hear it from Camille, from Foster, from Penny, for Kareem, or from me. Tonight I have brought to you a warning for Trinidad and Tobago, published on the 3rd of April this year in the Business Guardian by one of the top business reporters in Trinidad and Tobago. This is not PNM saying this. This is somebody in the media who will criticize the government and may praise the government. Someone who will analyze things and who will tell the truth. Anthony Wilson said, "Can TNT afford Kamala's promises?" Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Trinidad and Tobago, be warned by Anthony Wilson and The Guardian. He says, the cost of funding, only seven, the cost of funding 7 of the main promises or commitments made by Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the political leader of the UNC, during the 2025 general election campaign could be more than $18 billion in additional expenditure or revenue foregone. He is warning us, and he says, according to his calculations, based on publicly available information and verified by senior economists who insisted on remaining anonymous because of their sensitive positions, Trinidad and Tobago, La Horquetta, sensible people of Trinidad and Tobago, we are being warned. They go on. The 7 main financial promises and commitments are: 1, increase the compensation of public sector employees by no less than 10%. The cost up to $12 billion, with increased expenditure on wages and salary of $1.1 billion a year. Now I know for many of us, these are just figures. But the point that I will get to and that he is warning us of, it will bankrupt Trinidad and Tobago. 2, she said, the UNC said they are going to lower corporate taxes by 5%. Initially, the revenue that will be lost is $1.3 billion. 3, she's going to remove VAT on 7,000 items, food items. Revenue lost, $1.5 billion. 4, eliminate property tax, you lose $150 million in revenue. 5, remove 7% online tax, you lose $62 million. 6, increase the fuel subsidy by $2 billion a year. 7, remove taxes on retirement benefits and private pensions. We're going to lose $100 million. So Anthony Wilson and senior economists who are independent but afraid of the victimization by the UNC are warning us that is an $18 billion bill. Not for them, you know, because their pockets full already. They still have $100 cotton notes they're waiting for. For you and for me and for every law-abiding citizen. This affects everyone. This affects our CPEP workers, our URP workers, our public servant contract workers, our policemen, our nurses, our doctors, our prison officers, our firemen. This is serious business. Our corporation workers, take note because we are being warned. He goes on to say, so what is the truth? Not me. This is Anthony Wilson asking, so what is the truth? The UNC leaders' emphasis on straight talk and telling the truth to followers is crucial because from where I sit, meaning Anthony Wilson, there is absolutely, and he puts it in big letters, no way short of a miracle that a TNT government led by Mrs. Prasad Bisesa is going to be able to deliver on promises and commitments that will cost taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago an estimated $18 billion in additional expenditure or revenue foregone. We have been warned that you cannot afford it. He goes on to say it is going to lead to larger debt. Our children will have to pay. And he goes on to do an analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we have been warned, and I am asking you on the 28th of April, do not be fooled by people who have no plan how they're going to raise money, but every plan is about how they're going to bankrupt Trinidad and Tobago. Our public servants, you are not being told the truth. I am still hearing public servants being told by an irresponsible union leader that our labor officer, Miss Jennifer Batiste Primus, under her days led properly. They are not being told what the government has offered. 1%, 1%, 3%, which is 5%. And that is going to cost the taxpayers $3.4 billion and $930 million a year. That is what we can afford. Do not let them fool you and say nothing has been made as an offer to you. Now, let me tell you once again how the UNC will bankrupt Trinidad and Tobago and how it will affect every single one of us. This is not about economists. This is not about people like Dominic operating in financial fields. This is about every one of us who has to walk to the tuck shop, who has to send our children down to the snack it, or send your children down to the grocery to get a loaf of bread, or whatever it is that we can afford. So let me tell you, Kamala Prasad Bisesa's plan and the UNC's plan is to take us straight to the IMF. And for those of you who remember, educate our children. In 1986, a coalition government called the NAR stood the same way that UNC coalition is doing now and making promises they could not keep. We ended up at the IMF. Public servants lost their jobs. You took a 10% cut in your salary as opposed to a 10% increase. They are going to take us right back there. The second thing that happened is a devaluation of the dollar, and I will explain how that affects each and every one of us, but not their financiers. So, I want to show you, in case you didn't see it before, and to show Trinidad and Tobago again tonight, because one thing you always get from a PNM platform and from every PNM speaker is the truth. I want you to look at the screen and see what Kamala Prasad Bisesa said in the People's Parliament, what her plan is.
Minister said that if you should get into office, the value of the dollar is...
No, that's totally false. That is not on the books of the UNC at all.
The Minister of Finance will work with Central Bank to make sure that our exchange rate is competitive, eliminating the current dirty managed float and allowing market forces to operate within a crawling band.
That is not on the books of the UNC.
It's not on the books of the UNC. It is right here on the UNC's master plan for national economic transformation. You notice how they stumbled when they faced with the truth. They're now trying to convince Trinidad and Tobago they're not going to do that. Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, defenders of what is right in the People's National Movement, all of those concerned about the future for our children and the future of what will happen by this time next year. Kamla Persad Bissessa and the UNC are going to bankrupt Trinidad and Tobago. And when they take those decisions and we end up at the IMF, the first thing they do is fire contract workers. The first thing they do is get rid of the workers who are at our corporations, get rid of the subsidies. So the gas will go up, lights will go up, water will go up, no more free drugs in the hospital, education we might have to pay for. Be warned. That is what the UNC is going to do. Furthermore, I want each and every one of us to understand, when they devalue the dollar, today you saw an article written by an economist who left the UNC because he could not handle the dishonesty anymore. And he said, look at what happened in South Africa when they floated their dollar, similar to Trinidad and Tobago's value, and how people are struggling. And tonight, from a PNM platform, I want us to look and see, when the UNC devalues the dollar at 15-1, what it is going to mean for each and every one of us when we have to buy flour, we have to buy bread and other items. Look at that. Flour now is $18. Under the UNC, it will go up to $40. Curry will go from $12 to $26. Oil will go from $21 to $50. Onions will go from $6 to $13. Sardines will go from $14 to $38. Also, when they devalue the dollar and they send us to the IMF, the value of our money goes down. So today, $10 will be worth less than $5. This is what they are going to do to Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, you have a responsible government that has fought hard for 9.5 years, and we will continue to fight on your behalf for the next 5 years when you put us into government to make sure there is no devaluation. Anthony Wilson and other economists have warned us that their bag of poison goodies will bankrupt Trinidad and Tobago and they can't afford it. What you need to consider is a PNM government, even in times that we faced coming out of COVID, started up a Ministry of Youth Development and National Service and put Minister Foster Cummings, your MP, and in those 4 short years, he has driven it. And we can say 1,400 of our young people have gotten training in agriculture, are on their way to get land that they can plant 2 acres and build a small house on that land. That is PNM policy and how we look after you with what we have. I have come here tonight to tell all of the people who will suffer under UNC government that this PNM government and me with this team will fight, we will fight, and we will fight to make sure that you are looked after. My mission, and this team's mission is to make sure that the more vulnerable in our society are looked after. And we will fight for you. I fought for the unions, I fought for the workers, and that is something I did for my whole career. I still have the pleasure of walking Trinidad and Tobago and having workers from the same CWU come up and remind me how I fought for them. You have seen how in the last 9.5 years, this government, sending me with their support, we have fought the oil and gas companies, where today we could stand as a proud PNM government because you gave us the chance and say that we fought and we got $38 billion for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That is the track record. They can't take it away from us. On the other hand, they went into NGC, our national gas company, and took $16 billion in cash to give it to their friends in contracts. Instead, what we did is we went all over the world and we fought for the young children. We fought for senior citizens. We fought to make sure we could still have free education, that our hospitals could be built, new hospitals with doctors, nurses, and drugs. That is what our PNM government does. Do not let them fool us and say that the PNM does not care. We provide with actions and we provide with results. We do not sell old talk and lies. A PNM government governs for everyone. A PNM government does not say, I'm only looking after this creed, this race, this religion. That is not what Dr. Eric Williams put down as the policy of the PNM. And I stand here today as a proud citizen, honored that a party of 70 years of existence, of the caliber and the quality of the People's National Movement, welcomed me with open arms, greeted me with open arms, and gave me the opportunity to fight for Trinidad and Tobago. And I want our core supporters. I want our supporters in Grandi, in Valencia, in Arima, in Maloney, in La Horquetta, Talparo, in Lavantel, East West, Port of Spain, Diego Martin, San Fernando, Maruga, Point Fortin, La Brea, Central Trinidad, Chaguanas, or 2 Tobago seats, to know that with every last breath in my body, God gave me life. I will fight for Trinidad and Tobago to make sure we do what is right for our future and for our children and our senior citizens. You know what is caring? You know what is caring for our people? We have heard the cries and people asking, well, you were there for 9 years, why you didn't do it? In those 9 years, we were defending Trinidad. In those 9 years, we were getting the experience. The experience, we were out there fighting, we were building new programs. We have a stable platform now, and God forbid anybody come and destroy Trinidad and Tobago. It is up to the People's National Movement and all who support us to stand in defense of Trinidad and Tobago. You have a government that has heard your cries. I heard a young woman in Sandy Grande, the same way I've heard my constituents in Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, the same way Foster comes to cabinet and says what his constituents are telling him at his office, that unfortunately, sometimes when our citizens who need grants, disability grant, a roof repair grant, a housing repair grant, a food card, to get your pension, and you go to the system, you don't get the help that you deserve. Well, we stand here tonight as the government to tell you, and General Council approved it tonight as part of the PNM's plan going forward, that we will make sure that when you apply for your grant, when you go for your food card, when you go for the roof to be fixed on your house, You are treated with dignity. You are treated properly. And we are going to make sure in government offices they use the technology that is available. We don't want to hear anymore and lose your file. We want that information to go straight into the computer. We want to know 6 months in advance, you're going to retire. That is in the computer. It goes through the system that we're going to put in place. So on the day of your retirement, within 3 months, your pension is in your account. That is caring for you. We want to get rid of the systems where you have to know somebody. We don't want that anymore. We want when a young mother needs help and she gets a food card to help her family. If a young son or daughter gets a temporary job, that does not affect the family's food card. We're not accepting that anymore. We want to make sure that when your child needs to go to school and you need that help with the book grant, and we've increased the book grant, going from 20,000 to 30,000, that you could get that on time so you don't have to be stressed, worrying about how you're going to send your son or daughter to school with their school books. These are the things the next PNM government is going to do. And we are going to fight for it to happen. And that ministry of implementation and efficiency, that ministry of implementation and efficiency is not like what must do in the United States. No, it will be out of the office of the Prime Minister. And I could say it works because that is what I did as the minister in the office of the Prime Minister. When the Prime Minister said, hey, go and get this gas deal. Go to Japan and fight for Trinidad. Go and make sure that school gets access to the money to pay its teachers. That is what I did. I know how it works, so I will establish it. And that when I am sitting in Whitehall and we get on the line and a young woman in La Horquetta says, I'm not getting my housing grant, and she puts forward that complaint, that I could immediately call and say, where is the grant for the young lady living on house number 10 in so-and-so street in La Horquetta? Because the computer system will be there. And the minister would be able to say, hey, let us help. Because the government is here to help. Public servants are here to help. So today I stand here giving you the commitment the same way I have fought for the last 9.5 years. Now, my fight turns to a different fight. Because you see, when you're in charge, it's different. When you're supporting, it's different. But when you're in charge, you're in charge. When you're in charge and say, I want that done, we will get it done. Trinidad and Tobago, our citizens must get respect and dignity. I want to use a quick example. In 2011, under that government, they called a state of emergency. You remember how they treated citizens in that state of emergency? They meted out, meaning they treated citizens in the worst possible way. We have just last night completed a state of emergency under a PNM government in Trinidad and Tobago, where you saw crime reduced and you did not hear complaints about people being unfairly arrested or detained. We did not tell you can't leave your house at night. We had one of the most successful carnivals because we know how important that is to thousands, tens of thousands of people who make a living off of that. Compare the actions versus the words. the state of emergency came, our police officers and our defense force were able to utilize it. They were able to go after who they needed to, and it did not disrupt your lives. When the UNC did it, and they didn't even tell us the proper reason why, they shut down all of our movements. They said you couldn't have public meetings and all these types of things. These are small things, but they have a lot of meaning behind it. So tonight I tell Trinidad and Tobago from right here in La Horquetta, Talparo, it is up to you to do the right and responsible thing on the 28th of April. All of the speakers before have given you good reason why. But tonight you're hearing from the highest office in the land that we will lead this country. And we are in very difficult times all over the world. And don't ask, well, how that affecting me? The other night in Chaguanas, along with Minister Cummings, he spoke and then I spoke, and I laid out the plans that you will see in our manifesto, which is about to be launched. It was approved today by General Council. You heard our plans for crime. The UNC went silent for over 24 hours because they had no response. The first thing is, you cannot solve a problem. You cannot be part of a solution if you're part of the problem. The first thing from the UNC camp, a person who is a problem in the crime arena comes out and says, we copy the UNC. PNM has never had to copy the UNC with anything because that will lead us to hell in a handbasket. Days later, they send Sobers, not Gary Sobers, you know, Sean Sobers, to say that already exists. It does not. The PNM has plans to deal with crime and criminality. You heard about it. You're going to see it in our manifesto. And the next day, we are going to tackle crime. We're going to hit it hard. I know how to do that because we were doing it. We managed COVID. I told you about my experience right here in your constituency. We are going to continue doing what is right for all of Trinidad and Tobago. And tonight, I ask you to consider this. You know, with a PNM government and the 41 quality candidates that we have put forward, any single one of those candidates could be a minister at a cabinet table. Any single one of those candidates could lead a part of a ministry, a full ministry, or whatever they're asked to do on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago. Ask yourself this. God forbid a UNC government with someone, because the latest you're hearing is that the leader of the UNC coming in for a short time and then shifting out. Ask yourself this. Who will be leading that? Munilal, who couldn't even put in his defense in court? Roberts, who can't put a proper syllable and sentence together? Padarat, who didn't even know what constituency he was going up for and had to correct his leader? Ratiram, who they could not put back before the electorate, but they're going to bring them in via the Senate. These are the potential cabinet ministers. Think long and hard about that. So when you have to go to Washington, or you have to go to London, and you have to represent Trinidad and Tobago, you want any of them going to do it? Not one of them is capable. Not one of them has the integrity to lead from in front. So tonight, I tell you, that thing about government offices and files piling up and a backlog, and they tell you, well, it's in there somewhere, come back next week, come back a month. We are going to tackle that head on. The Ministry of Digital Transformation, which was also formed in the last 5 years, I've already spoken to Minister Bacchus, put him on notice that they have now to implement the technology that exists. It is going to be all over. We are going to look after our young people, as I've been telling you, not only in the area of housing, in a proper manner, and their response to proper P&M policy that is caring. You had Jerlene John running from Foster come forward and say, I will build 500 houses a week. Where you'll build that? With Lego? You can't even build it in Rienzi Complex because you don't have a home. So La Horquetta Talparo, Trinidad and Tobago, tonight, once again, we stand here before you, humbly asking for the opportunity, together as a team, to write the new chapter for Trinidad and Tobago. And don't listen to those naysayers out there asking about new chapter, because when you see our manifesto, you will see it is bold, it is innovative, it is taking Trinidad and Tobago once again to the top of the class in a responsible manner. We are not going to bankrupt Trinidad and Tobago. We are not going to let those food prices that you saw happen. And don't listen to them with their comparison of 10 years ago to now. Because God forbid they get anywhere near the treasury. So tonight, we stand here humbly asking every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago who wants what is better for your children, your grandchildren, or senior citizens. On the 28th of April, wake up in the morning wherever you are, up in Charlottesville, all the way down to Cedros. You're in Toko, down to Galeota. You're in Caranage, straight across the Toko. You're here in La Horquetta Talparo. You're there in Mauseka. You're there in Lavantil West. You're there with Penny and Arima. You're there with Camille bringing home all the votes in Trin City Maloney. Wherever you are, wake up that morning, say your prayers, ask God for everybody who wants what is best to vote for the People's National Movement. And join me in Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, at our home, our proud home, Balize House, as we rescue and we fight for Trinidad and Tobago again. And as we say once again, great is the P&M, great is the P&M, great is the P&M, and we shall prevail. Thank you.
Hey, 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 hey. Hey! La Horquetta, how you feeling? Hey! Whoa! Calling all the Red Army! Hey, na 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 na! Hey! Put your hands in the air! Hey! Put your flags in the air!
Trinidad and Tobago, let's make history. We're ready now. Calling the Red Army, calling out all our we friends and family with love for TNT. From the mountain top to the valley low, everywhere we go, country before party. We working, we building, young will make it better. Side by side, we standing for one nation's future. This is the movement, we all in together, not just the one, my sister, my brother, values it in your hand,
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen, people of Trinidad and Tobago. Another quality platform brought to you by the People's National Movement. Genuine 2025 politics. The days of dinosaur politics have passed us by. The others on the other side are offering you another dose of dinosaur politics. Tired relics, old talk, bacchanal. What you've gotten here today is inspiration, education, and enlightenment. A list of speakers that can stand anywhere in the world and present themselves as a good example to the people of the country. Culminating in our Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart Young, giving a vision for the future of Trinidad and Tobago. Not empty promises being spewed at a population, which really is an insult to the intelligence and the integrity of a people, but a genuine connection and concern for
to ensure that systems work and that the country can truly help our citizens to achieve their full potential, addressing elements of inefficiency, addressing the economy in a frank and honest manner, which really is a complement to the intellectual capacity of the citizens of this country. So we don't preach to the lowest common denominator. We speak to citizens as if they are intelligent, because that is what we've produced in Trinidad and Tobago. We heard from young Kareem Marcel. What an inspiration to persons not just from Laventille and Sealots and those communities, but citizens right across both islands in our twin island republic. Especially the young people could connect to the message of those like Kareem Marcel, or offering themselves with integrity, with dignity, not getting into vile and misusing a platform and microphone, but really connecting to the hearts and minds of the people, reaching into the future and drawing the citizens with them. We heard from Penelope Beckles, a lady of the people, a stalwart in the politics of this country, with us on this new journey, in this new chapter. Dominic Romaine, the magnificent Foster Cummins, who is really transformed into a powerhouse of national politics, and we heard his delivery tonight here in his constituency, right here in La Horquetta Phase 2. And of course the political inspiration, the future of leadership in this country. A young man, relatively young man, he's younger than me, with integrity, with dynamism, with energy. An extremely hard worker. I don't know how he does it. I don't know what battery is inside of him to drive this energy. I've seen it up close and personal, and I'm here to tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have to bad talk the other side, because what we offer is of such a high caliber and quality. It distinguishes itself. It sells itself. It presents itself in such a manner that really should connect with the best of our past, the best of our present, and absolutely the best of the future of Trinidad and Tobago. This is the people's national movement. This is how we do our business. This is how we conduct ourselves. This is something we're very proud of, and our citizens, the people of this country, should be proud as well. So on the 28th of April, we invite your support once again to choose a clean glass of water, reject a dirty glass of water. It's very easy to make that distinction. You listen to the platform, you listen to the speakers, you listen to the candidates, you identify exactly what level they are pitching at. The People's National Movement, we always aim for the highest standards and levels. The rest, well, they can speak for themselves. I'm very proud of this party. I'm proud of these 41 candidates. The only party that has fielded, in respect for our citizens and voters, candidates in every constituency. And we will continue until the 28th of April and thereafter as a government offering itself to citizens, and then for a 5-year term to take Trinidad and Tobago absolutely to the next level. We have the attributes, we have the capacity, we have the character to achieve exactly that. You've heard some of that on the stage this evening. It is my pleasure once again to join with you as we embark on this journey into a new chapter of service. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. There's some entertainment taking place on the stage. We also like people to have a good time. There's a powerful smell. I wish you were here, of curry roti and other things. There are vendors. Listen, here in La Horquetta Phase 2, we are located in a very special spot. All of this was built by the People's National Movement going back to the 1980s. Thousands of houses for citizens right here, still standing, doing well. People that can take care of their families. And we are situated in a plaza for small businesses thriving. The barber shop, the handicraft, the person doing sewing, this person selling small goods. All of this is taking place. A thriving community. Another example of resources being put, not to just give away or to abuse, resources being put to productive purposes in the interest of our citizens. That is the PNM standard, that is the PNM style, and that is what we will continue to offer to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. God bless you and your families. See you at our next platform. See you at our next walkabout. We have a prime minister who is able to walk and who is walking all the streets, all the constituencies. Check to see if you see his rivals anywhere on the hustings. They are hard to find. We are young, we're dynamic, we're energetic, we have the integrity, we have the intelligence, and we love Trinidad and Tobago. God bless you. God bless your families. See you soon. All the best.
We'll be sweeping everywhere. Election time is here. We'll be sweeping everywhere. Get your broom now. Sweeping time. Sweeping time. Sweeping time. The air was ready, people turned. The delivery was a
This is a new chapter. Join us on the road to victory. On Wednesday, April 16th, Diego Martin, meet us at the Diego Martin Central Secondary School. And Laventil, meet us at the Success Laventil Secondary School for your local meetings. We're red, ready, and responsible. Vote PNM. Great is the PNM.